My name is Olek and I'm Korean Ukrainian. I've lived in Taiwan for 1 year already. When the invasion started in February, we saw that many Taiwanese people started paying attention to what's going on in Ukraine. What we did was we united with some other members of the Ukrainian community in Taiwan, and we created this media platform that's called Ukrainian Voices. And through that platform, we're trying to inform Taiwanese people about Ukraine. We want people to know that Russia didn't just invade Ukraine this year, that invasion started 8 years ago, and even before that, for centuries, Russia was colonizing Ukraine, killing Ukrainian people, stealing from the people. So we're trying to provide that kind of historical and cultural context for people to look at Ukraine as something more than just news. So once the full-scale invasion started, I was very devastated. This was perhaps the worst year of my life. In the beginning, it looked like everything was really bad for our country. It was also very hard for me personally because my province was invaded very quickly. And then we saw that people in Ukraine and outside of Ukraine are united against the enemy. So it also gave me hope. And also it gave me guilt for not being there supporting people directly, That's why perhaps I tried to be more active here while in Taiwan. Luckily, there were good news that our provincial capital was liberated, the city of Kherson. While we don't know how the war will go for the rest of occupied territories, I tried to remain hopeful. So when the invasion happened, many people started comparing Ukraine and Taiwan, saying something like, perhaps Taiwan will be the next one to be invaded and things like that. I think that getting into comparing Ukraine and Taiwan geopolitically is very ungrateful work, while we actually see so many more similarities that we can, discuss. Like the fact that we're both democratic countries. People know the value of democracy and the value of freedom. And it's something that Taiwan also showed the world, how this country values, let's say, human rights and inclusion. That's what Ukraine is fighting for. There's also so many topics that we reveal, like, for example, questions of identity, questions of language and linguistic diversity, or histories of oppression that happened in both Ukraine and in Taiwan by external powers. That is something that really resonates with Taiwanese people when we write about Ukraine. Like one of our most popular publications was about the history of oppression of the Ukrainian language by Russia. Many people came and left comments in many languages, like in Taiyu. People would come and say, well, something like that happened in Taiwan too. What we've realized during this year is that it's very important to speak for yourself, because Russia, as the colonial power, monopolized all knowledge about Ukraine around the world. So before this invasion started, pretty much all information about Ukraine that foreigners had was either from Russian media channels or from Russian studies, which are very Russian colonizer-centric. I think the most valuable is listening to Ukrainian people about Ukraine and to amplify Ukrainian people. I think that is something that Taiwanese people should also be doing, because wherever we go, platform is disadvantageous towards Taiwanese people, right? And we can see that Taiwanese people who live abroad, they sometimes find it hard to prove that they have their own truth. That's something I want to tell to Taiwanese people. Don't feel shy to speak louder about yourself, about your country. Go out there, make sure that you are heard. So thank you, everyone. Everyone is invited. Please read and follow our platforms and learn more about Ukraine there. Of course, please keep supporting Ukraine, because your support is more important than ever.